Hello and welcome to the beginning of this series where I will be showing you the genetics for these dragons that I have made so that I can make characters realistic, based on genetics for these things, and you can use this for a lot of things. I think I'm going to make a game out of this where it's like a role-playing game of such where you can breed these dragons and colors can add to different powers and different things too, as well as size of horns, number of horns and claws, and different shapes and musculature and many different things. Right now we're only going through the color page, and it's very, very long. You see, as I've only made this for the base color, not even getting into anything else, and I made a very long line to keep adding more of these alleles, if anyone's gotten into any kind of, genetics. You know about the alleles and how they combine and stuff. And, well, let's get into this. So, in my books so far, I have written down the likelihood for the fire dragon species to inherit a certain color gene. And there's 3 colored genes: red, blue, and yellow. And so obviously red and yellow will make oranges, blue and yellow will make greens, and red and blue will make purples. So you can get pretty much any color. Brightness, these 3 alleles will control how bright the color is. So blue will be real bright, medium will be in the middle, dark will be, of course, dark. Saturation will be going more toward the gray scale, but it won't always look gray. So there will be high saturation, middle saturation, low saturation, and grayscale. These four alleles for grayscale. Most of the fire dragons will have the recessive N. It'll be more rare to have a white, gray, or black dragon. And how this works is the grayscale has 4 alleles so that you can get all the different ranges of grays in there. So white, if you get 2 whites, it'll be all the way up at the top. If you get 1 white and 1 gray, you'll have a very silvery, you'll have silver instead of gray, like a very lightish white silver, but it'll be within the gray. You get a gray and a black, and of course it'll be a dark gray, and if you get 2 black alleles, then it'll be all black. If you get the N, then all the other colors are expressed, and it is not in grayscale. And for fire dragon breed, that is most likely. For every single breed, they may have the same types of genes, being able to mix breed. You'll be able to mix more of these, but the likelihoods of getting a certain color or brightness or grayscale will be, or even saturation sometimes, but I don't think that'll be as much. Will change based on species. I don't think I have everything quite written up, so some of this may be written up as I go. So right here I have my palette, and right now we're not going to be going into anything except for just explaining this setup. So right now, of course, we got our full body dragon without the wings because they take up a lot of room. It shows whatever accents they may have, and accents mean, what goes on the back of their neck. It's all species specific. This is just the medium of what every dragon can have, since this is only the coloration page. This would show what the body would basically look like colored. As far as the shapes, the spikes may look different from dragon to dragon, and that will be on another page, on the shape page. This is just the coloration series that I'm doing for the species right now. The horns could be shorter, longer, more horns, depending on the genes, but the most likely result is displayed on this dragon for every single shape result. But the shapes can vary based on submissive or more rare genes. So you just get a close-up of the claws because you will also have a claw color gene in there. It gets really in detail. We'll have the eye color genetics, the skin color around the eye, those genetics. even the tongue color, which is why I have a mouth over here. You get to see the inside of the mouth, what color that will be based on the genetics. And so even just within one species, it can get, obviously, as you can see, you know, down this huge line where these four only show the base color. And since this is only color related, you see how many genes can go into it and how different each dragon can look, even in the same species. That being said, every species will have certain things that only happen in their species, and when you mix breed them, everything will be able to blend beautifully into beautiful new patterns and colors and types that you wouldn't see in maybe a purebred. And so, you know, I just wanted to make it as realistic, genetics-wise, and interesting as I could, because I studied dog and cat and horse and avian and fish genetics, and I've taken my favorite types of genetics from each one and created a little bit of my own in here, just to see how I could apply that to a mythical creature like a dragon. I like dragons. And yes, this is a basic fire dragon that you see every day, but we're going to paint it pretty. And with genetics, we'll see, you know, how it can end up looking. So, of course, for the fire dragon, before I go, the most common color is red, and then followed by yellow. And so red is dominant over yellow. Yellow is dominant over blue. I forgot to add that right there, that with different species, I call them dominant based on the likelihood, but they're not dominant. All of these will mix. So red and blue is purple, blue and yellow is green, and yellow and red is orange. So they don't, you know, totally knock each other out unless the mixing genes say so. And what I forgot to add, and I'll put an arrow under there, is mixing genes, and that would be a few different, whoops, I got way too big of an eraser here. Different results. So how the mixing gene works is really interesting, and I will add that in the next video. What it basically does is shows how much blue will be expressed or how much red will be expressed if these two are mixed. Of course, if you get two red genes, it's just plain red, two blue genes, just plain blue, etc. But if you do get purple, these genes will control how much red it will have or how much blue it will have. And sometimes, only sometimes, and very rarely, it may almost look completely red if that would be turned dominant by these alleles, or completely blue, depending. But that is more rare, and it would have to be both toward that parent's allele that they shared, and it's parentally bound, like it will go more toward the father's color or the mother's color, because that's the only way that you can see which one would it would blend towards, depending on what allele they have. I'll explain it better in the next video. But anyway, I hope you find this interesting. We'll be going into not only what the colors are, but how much firepower that would give them, because color will affect the elements that they have, the attack points, defense points. Maybe I'll take that off of this template and put it onto the shapes template, because that one will have to deal with the different shapes they can have, like different amount of horns, claws, and everything, and that will defend and you know, the thickness of their body, their muscles, and all that. That'll have to do with their shape more than the color. So maybe I will put the attack and defense points on another page. But for firepower, this goes pretty well. Alrighty, see you next time.